Hi, my name's Nathan Quarless. I'm a professional boxer at the Us People podcast with Savia Rocks. I hope you enjoy.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and today I'm humbled enough to have Nathan here with me, who is a professional boxer. Nathan, thank you so much for coming on the Us People podcast. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on as well. It's been a long time coming, but finally
Finally
got it
here?
sorted.
Yeah, most definitely. So, Nathan, you're a young boxer, but an extremely talented young boxer, especially from what I've seen. Could you tell us a little bit about where you grew up and your background and how that influenced you to be a boxer and to be the person who you are today?
I come from a family of boxers. My uncle was
Okay.
a good professional boxer from Liverpool. Is well known throughout England, and obviously my dad boxed as well. So it's always sort of been engraved in me, really. And then when I was growing up, we lived in Kensington, in Liverpool, and at the time it was quite a racist area.
Yeah.
From what me dad and his siblings had was nothing compared to what I had. Obviously, a lot worse for them growing up, but for me, it was still it was still tough, and there was still a lot of racism around. So I was always fighting as a young boy anyway. So I think it was just inevitable, really, for me to start boxing. I started playing football, and then just grew from there, really. And then my dad gave me a choice. He said, "Do you want to go back to football, or do you want to start boxing?" So I thought I'd give boxing a go, and that was when I was about 13.
Oh, wow. So you kind of knew exactly. Was that your first childhood memory of boxing? Was because you always had to defend yourself and
Yeah, to be honest, I always liked it. Growing up, I used to watch all the old fights. But obviously, my dad used to teach me stuff as well, because being a young mixed race boy, and in the times we were growing up, is you still
yeah,
had to defend yourself, really.
yeah.
Um, and it just went from there. And I started getting a lot better at boxing, and then it wasn't, maybe I was 16, and I knew then that I could probably make a living from doing it. So I'm just chasing the dream, really.
No, chasing a good one. Definitely chasing a good one. Where did your inspiration come from? What makes you wake up, Nathan, and say, this is something that I want to do every day? Where does that energy come from?
Just I want to provide for future family and the family I've got now.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, live a comfortable life and not having to work 9 to 5 every day. For the rest of my life, I want to be able to have nice things. And for growing up, we didn't have much, so
Yeah.
just have that fire in my belly, really, to to put it in, and try and make a good living from boxing.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. What does it mean to be a fighter to you? And how are you different? How do you feel that you're different from other boxers that are out there?
It means everything, really. It's been a lot. It's been, don't even know how many years. It's been a long time fighting and seeing yourself progress, and stuff like that. Really, when you go back to your very first fight as an amateur to your very first fight as a pro, you can see how much you're improving. Even I've been a pro for 3 years,
Yeah.
and I can see how much I've improved from my first fight to where I'm at now. So, you know, it's not just about, I'm not just a boxer. I think I can do it all, really. I can fight, I can box, and I really think I'm taking my skills to another level now. And I'm learning, and I'm wanting to learn new things. I'm not just set on uh, the stuff I'm good at. I want to learn the stuff I'm bad at as well.
Yeah, definitely. How do you beat someone who is faster than you? What's your mindset? Where if somebody is faster than you or bigger than you, what is your mindset about the technique of being able to beat them?
Um, don't think I've ever fought anyone who's faster than me. Like, but I've obviously boxed people who've been bigger than me, and I don't know. You've got to rely on the stuff you've been doing and what you've been doing in the gym.
Yeah,
And if you go into the ring knowing you've put everything in beforehand, you're gonna win. And sometimes boxing isn't gonna always work. Sometimes you do have to go in the trenches a bit, and you will have to fight. Or sometimes it's the opposite. Fighting won't work, so you've got to sit back and box.
yeah.
So it's just about the knowledge really of boxing and to get you through different type of opponents.
That makes sense to me. Can you give me a sample of how you train? What is a day in your life like training, having a training session?
So I'll just take you from what I've done today.
Yeah.
So I wake up pretty early anyway, and then I'll have something to eat, and then at 12 o'clock is my training session for boxing. So
Hmm.
we go in, get warm, spend about 20 minutes getting warm, doing your stretches, and then you go on to whatever your coach tells you to do. So you say a bag session, working in intervals, and then we'll go on the pads, skip, the usual boxing stuff, do a little bit of circuits, um, and then I went home. I had a rest for an hour, and then I went on me road bike and done 25 miles, to get the fitness levels up. Obviously, being a big lad, you can't always run, and I had problems with my knees over the years.
Yeah.
I was just battering the road every day, and so now I'm mixing it up. I'm doing 3 bike sessions,
Okay.
trying to do 100 miles a week on the bike, and then maybe 2 run sessions a week. So and then obviously you got to do your semi-conditioned sessions as well.
Yeah.
So the days that you do the semi-conditioning, you'll have done 3 sessions that day. So it does get tough, and it is difficult, but you've just got to keep going really.
It definitely sounds tough. I don't think I'll be able to get through one bike session. Let alone what you do is amazing. How do you mentally control a match when you're in the ring with your opponent? How does that work? I've always wanted
I
to
don't
ask
know
some of
really.
that.
It's just from I think really it's from experience.
Yeah.
But when you very first start boxing, obviously it's a totally different mindset. You sort of grow into boxing, and when you very first start and it's your very first spar,
Mm.
someone throws a punch at you, and you flinch away and stuff. But then you gradually learn to, so if you see a boxing out, you get punched in the face and there's no reaction. I think it's the same really mentally. Obviously, you've got to be mentally tough as well,
Yeah.
because not all the time it's not always going to go your way. You've just got to believe in yourself, and sometimes you will have to adapt in the fight.
What makes a great boxer to you in your mind?
Um, I would say you've got to have the knowledge in boxing. You've got to be able to have a smart IQ.
Okay.
Uh, I think heart is another one.
Yeah.
Sometimes, obviously, when if it's late on in a fight, and like I said before, it's not going your way, and if you don't have a heart, you're not going to be able to dig through and try and get a win out of it. So I think that's obviously important, and not knowing, sorry, I think being if you're wanting to learn all the time and you don't think you're the finished article, I think that's another one. I think if you start thinking you're finished in terms of in learning, you're just going to stay at that same level. You've
That's
got to
true.
always keep wanting to learn, and
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
That's definitely right. How okay, let's talk about sponsorship. I've spoken to a few boxers. Well, I've interviewed quite a few boxers, and they always tell me sponsorship is really important. But just in your knowledge and in your opinion, for anybody who is starting out in boxing and would like to get sponsorship, what would your advice be about learning how to get sponsorship and the right ways to get it?
The biggest one really is don't give up. You will send hundreds and hundreds of emails, and you will never get a reply. Sometimes you will. They'll say no. You've just got to keep persevering. Really,
Mm.
for how many years I've been boxing, I've probably sent 1,000 emails, and
Wow.
not everyone's going to reply, and not everyone's going to want to be able to help you. It's mainly people who enjoy the sport will want to give out, especially at a starting level. Anyway,
Yeah.
when you become an established boxer and you're higher up and you're on the TV shows, and obviously it's going to be they'll be coming to you. But at the starting level, you just got to keep trying and word of mouth as well, getting people to ask for you as well.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one.
I like that. What do you think is your greatest achievement to date? What has made you feel like this is all worthwhile?
In boxing or in life.
You could do both. I don't mind.
Um, in boxing, I don't know. I had a decent amateur career, not as good as some other lads, but I got a bronze medal in the ABAs, which is the national finals, which was a
Wow.
good achievement. And 7-0 as a pro, it's obviously I beat some good kids along the way, so I'm happy where I'm at. And hopefully when we're able to box again, I keep pushing on and keep winning.
Yeah, totally. The first time you ever lost the fight against somebody, how did that make you feel? And how did you lift yourself back up in a positive way to say, you know what, I'm going to continue fighting?
Yeah, it was tough. I remember it was on a Gemini show in
Oh,
Speak in
yeah.
Liverpool, and boxed I come forward. I mean, I thought I won the fight as every boxer will say, but it's heartbreaking, especially being your first fight on your debut.
Yeah.
But you just gotta brush yourself off and go again, really, and make sure that you win the next one.
Cool. What are the challenges you face as a boxer? And what advice would you give to other people boxing the same as you, but not necessarily on your level, but
Yeah,
maybe just starting? What advice would you give them about the challenges you face as a boxer?
yeah. Obviously, your training's obviously challenging, but there's a lot more to it as well. When you're seeing your mates going out on the weekend and you're having to stay in, relationships as well. You've got to have someone there who who, who supports you really,
Yeah.
and are not willing to be wanting to go out all the time, either going for food or drinks, because it's that the life of a boxer isn't like that.
Yeah.
So obviously that's challenging, especially when you're a young lad as well. You're 18, when you're first being able to go out drinking and you're not able to do it as much as you would like. So obviously there's a lot of obstacles in the way, but if you just keep believing and you know yourself if you've got it and if you've got the heart for it, because
Yeah.
a lot of the lads will stop boxing between 16 to 18 because obviously you start speaking to girls, you start going out. So it was hard, but I'm at where I'm at now. So
Yeah. I want to ask you a little bit about the dangers of boxing because I've asked a few boxers this question, but I would love to ask you the question too. What are the dangers about being a boxer? Because when I was doing my research, obviously there's boxers who get brain damage, there's boxers who get dementia, and so on and so forth. How do you keep your mind and brain in check, or just your body in check, every time you go out and have a fight? What do you do to make sure you're mentally and physically okay?
physically it's obviously hard. It's not really the fight. It's not the fight really that's the hardest. It's the training.
Yeah.
You're sparring 3 times a week, so you'd be doing like 30 rounds a week sparring. That's where the danger comes from. So you just gotta make sure you got good equipment and good head guard, and obviously you might get a headache at the end of a spar, but as long as drinking a lot of water. Big one for me is drinking enough water.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go into spars a little bit dehydrated, and later on in the day I'll be getting bad headaches because you're getting punched
Yeah.
with not enough water in your body, and so your brain hasn't got enough fluid. So you got to make sure like you keep on top of your water and stuff like that. But in terms of the other stuff, I think if it happens, it happens. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
You get a yearly head scan, a brain scan.
Okay.
So there's stuff in place to protect us, like, and if they see anything, they won't let you box. So
Okay. That's good to
You
know.
just you can't think like that really. You've
Yeah.
got to put it at the back of your mind.
Is there anyone that you would like to talk about who has supported you from the first day that you started boxing to maybe your boxing life now? Is there anyone in particular that has supported you all the way through to the person who you are now?
Yeah, obviously my dad's been the
Yeah.
biggest influence in boxing. He was the well, he forced me to go at first, but if without my dad, obviously I wouldn't be boxing now
Yeah.
probably. Getting me through the teenage years and being lazy and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously my mum has been a big help as well. And my family, my uncle Mark too. He used to take a lot of time out his weekends and do extra sessions with me.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's my family as a whole has been great, and uh, John John Owen, a family friend, he used to help me with me running, and he goes everywhere with me still. He
Okay.
watches every spar.
Hmm.
So all these people, you can't thank enough really.
That's true. That's definitely true. When was the last time that you tried something new for yourself, Nathan? That was completely out of the boxing ring or completely out of the whole sport of boxing. Have you ever tried something new for yourself? When was the last time?
It was probably November. I started playing golf.
Oh,
Obviously,
cool.
I need something else in my life in terms of can't just have boxing. Well,
Yeah.
in a way, you need to something to switch off from. And for golf for me is when I'm out there playing, I totally switch off. I don't think about anything. Don't have my phone on me. Goes in my bag, and I play for how many hours I'm playing for. So for me, it's a big it's a big mental break for myself when I'm playing. So that's been a good help to me as well.
We're going to have a match one day, okay?
That's fine.
That's cool.
I'm not very good though, so
Oh,
don't
don't
don't.
worry. I'm right behind you. What do you feel that you have overcome in your life that has changed the way you think and feel and even interact with people?
Well, my biggest one is gambling. The gambling. Well, I'm a compulsive gambler.
Yeah.
So growing up from 17 to where I'm at now, it was like 4 years of just non-stop gambling.
Hmm.
Um, it was looking back, it's scary on how you live really. It's just every day up and down, gambling all my wages, and it was bad looking back, and I don't know how I would really live like that.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously I've battled through a gambling addiction, obviously, which leads to a bit of anxiety, depression. So obviously for me that's been my biggest hurdle so far.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no worries.
What are you most proud of that you stand for as an individual?
um, I don't know. It's my beliefs really,
Yeah.
just my beliefs. Stand up for what's right, and if it's, I'll voice my opinion if I think it needs to be voiced.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
That sounds good to me. What is the best advice you've ever received from somebody and how has it helped you in your life?
It's probably my dad again. He always used to tell me, talent only gets you so far.
That's true.
Obviously I had the talent growing up as a boxer and as a young lad,
Yeah.
but if you're not putting in the hard work on top of that, you're not gonna do anything. You might get through a few fights, but when someone's working twice as hard as you and they don't
Hmm.
have as that much talent, down the stretch of the fight they will beat you because they've got the fitness over you.
Yeah.
So
I,
that for me has always stuck in my mind.
I like that. That's actually really good advice that he gave you there. What would you do? We're constantly getting judged every day of our lives. But what would you do differently, Nathan, if nobody was judging you at all?
I don't know, but I don't let people's opinions bother me, so
That's
I
good.
just do exactly the same
Yeah,
as what I'm doing now.
that's good. I like that. When was the last time you remember being at peace with yourself?
To be honest, not too long ago. You know,
Ah,
yeah, not too long ago, because obviously not long I've been off the gambling for a while now, but it was for me it was how to live without gambling.
yeah.
It took me about a year to realize, and I had a lot of counselling sessions with Beacon Counselling. They helped me massively as well, helped me overcome the addiction, and then they helped me overcome post addiction as well.
Hmm.
So once I got that out the way, and how to live, because obviously when you're gambling, you will live day to day. If you look at yourself on a monitor, it will be up and down for how many years you've done it.
Yeah.
So when I finally plateaued and I was living on a straight line, for me it was depressing. I didn't know how to live. Um, so that took a while to overcome, and then once I overcome it, the past few months has probably been the best I've ever felt, even over lockdown,
Yeah.
because I knew something that hurt me so bad in the past is finally at peace with me now. So that I would say pretty pretty close anyway. That was the last time I was at peace.
I like that. That sounds really nice. If you could choose one quote that represents you as a person, what quote would you choose and why would you choose that particular quote?
I can't think one off the top of my head.
That's a hard one,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it is a hard one actually. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, here's one for you. If you were stuck on a desert island and you was allowed to take one person to have a conversation with, they could be famous, non-famous, dead or alive. What one person would you take to the island to have a conversation with?
Hmm. It, I don't
Yeah,
know.
look, he's thinking now.
Depends on the question, I guess. I don't know. Does it have to be famous, or be
No,
anyone?
no, it could be anyone, anyone that you want to have a conversation with.
Probably a family member, to be honest with you.
That sounds cool.
Maybe. Uh, Probably a boxing. Yeah, I'd say a boxer. Probably Joe Frazier. It was the person who got me into boxing, who I aspire to be like. Obviously, I don't box like him now, but when I was younger, I was always wanting to be a big hooker, because he was like a brawler type fighter.
Yeah,
Um, so I'd ask him out obviously a lot of questions and stuff. So I'd probably say him, yeah.
it sounds like a good conversation there. What is the best and worst thing about being a boxer, in your opinion?
The best, I don't know. I just love the sport.
Yeah,
I love fighting, and probably the best is when it is fight night and all the hard work is done,
yeah,
and you're in. It's like you're on the stage. It's a bit like don't know. Everyone's eyes are on you, and you've got to perform well. So I quite enjoy that side of it. But then obviously the least I is all the sacrifices you have to make.
yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you there. I've seen it quite a lot. If what does success mean to you? I know we spoke about it even before we started recording a little bit, but
Yeah.
what does success mean to you, Nathan, in your opinion?
Um, I would say obviously winning titles,
Hmm.
but I think obviously that's the aim of what I want to do in boxing. But I think to be successful, I've got to win them titles. But I think for me it would be
Yeah.
winning titles, but being financially secure as well.
Yeah,
That would that would be for me. I would be happy with that.
I like that. You've got a goal, and I can see you're
Yeah.
passionate about it. You definitely got a goal. What makes you? Well, I kind of said this today to you already in a way. What makes you different from other boxers when you're in a ring with them? What can you see when you're face to face with another boxer? What can you see that is different that helps you know whether or not you're going to win this fight or you know it's going to be a challenge? What makes you know you're different?
I just know. I know really. I'm better than a lot of people, and
It's
the
good.
only person who can beat me really is myself. And
Yes.
I think I have got the. I think the good thing with me, I can adapt in a fight. If it's not going my way, I can change my style to another one. But the biggest one for me, I don't ever believe that anyone can beat me. The
Okay.
only person who can beat me is myself. So I just have that mindset
Do you feel it's a
at all
confidence thing,
times.
Nathan?
Yeah, it's you've got to be, haven't you? I- I'm not arrogant or nothing like that. I'm just confident
Yeah.
in my own ability, and I think if you want to go far, you've got to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is gonna. So you've got to have a good mindset and keep believing.
What is the toughest fight you've ever had so far, and how did it make you a better fighter?
I would say it was as an amateur
Yeah.
when I was fighting for the North title belt. It
Mhm.
was up in Doncaster, and I was boxing a lad called PJ Stubbs.
Mhm.
He was number 5 in England at the time, and um, it was a war. I snapped the
Wow.
ligaments in my hand in the first round,
Ooh.
and then had to keep fighting, and it was really just it was just a war right through. And I'll always say that that was my toughest ever fight, and ended up winning that fight. And um,
Hey.
we took a lot out of each other that night. That's for sure. Anyway,
It sounds like it. It definitely sounds like it. Has there been an incident? Well, you kind of told me this, but in your life where you felt you wanted to give up because you were under immense pressure, how did you lift yourself up and say, no, I'm going to get back on this road again?
yeah.
I know you spoke about gambling before, and I know you spoke about other things, but just purely, for instance, on fighting, has there ever been a time when you know you're working your hardest, but you feel like you're not achieving what you want to do or where you want to be within boxing?
Yeah.
What did you do to lift yourself up, Nathan?
You've just got to obviously where I'm at now. I think I'm at a good level, and I haven't really had the break that I would want or would hope to have had.
Yeah.
But I know that the door will come knock on Monday, and I'll be ready to take it. So just you got to be patient, and you got to bide your time for the opportunities, and hopefully when it comes for me, I'll be ready for it. And that's what I'm training for at the minute. Um, I won't probably not going to fight this year, but I'm going to train as if I am, just to get the fitness levels up. So when the new year starts, and we get a date, I'll be more than ready for that.
It sounds like it to me. You sound like you're ready, which is good. I like the confidence in you, but it's a humble one. It's not like you say, it's not an arrogant confidence. It's a really humble, I know that I love this. This is my passion.
Yeah,
I really like that. That's really cool. What would you like your legacy to be? You've got a long time for
yeah.
this question, but what would you like your legacy to be when you retire from boxing and you finish and that's it? What would you like your legacy to be? How would you like people to remember you?
Just as obviously as a good boxer, but obviously being a good role model as well. I don't want to be I want to be someone for people to look up to, and be humble as well. Even if you're on top of the world, always remember where you came from, um,
Yes.
and your family models and stuff like that. So just obviously winning and winning titles, but never forgetting your roots, and inspire young lads and girls to want to box.
Has there ever been any funny moments in the ring that you would like to share that you remember
Um,
in your mind?
Probably probably the PJ Stubbs fight. Yeah, and obviously in that it was a war, a complete war. We were obviously we're big men, we're 14 stone, and we were throwing punches like lightweights. That's how many we threw. But it was
Hmm.
like the last 3 seconds, and he hit me with a body shot, and you can see on the camera the look on my face is, where's this bell? So that was it. That was a close call anyway. It was we had two good fights, two tough fights as well.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Aw. My final question for you, Han, is where can we find you in all your social medias? And if anybody else would like to contact you for sponsorship or anything, where can they find you?
Yeah, just on Instagram or Twitter. It's me Twitter's Quarless Nathan, and
Yes.
then me Instagram is Nathan Quarless.
Cool.
And
Perfect.
if anyone has any questions on anything, me DMs are open, so just feel free to drop me a message.
Perfect. Nathan, I want to thank you so much for being such a humble boxer. I think you've been one of the most humble boxers I've ever
Thank you.
had a conversation with. So thank you so much for coming on the Yes People podcast. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me as well.
No,
I've enjoyed it. I'll have to do it again. Hopefully when we start fighting.
no, most definitely. So we can have a round 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and a golf match. So a round 2 and a golf match.
Yeah.
It sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds good.
It sounds good to me.
As long as I win anyway.
As long as you win. I don't know. I might have to battle you on that one. You can win the boxing, but the golf, okay, we'll have a fight. We'll put a bet on it, maybe. Something good, something positive.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the Yes People podcast. And please remember, you can subscribe to Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and any other platform that you prefer listening to. Please also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can also donate to the Yes People podcast by simply going to the Savia Rocks website or just typing in paypal.me/Us People podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another.
Yeah, it was fun. It was great, thank you. The questions were good, and thought it went quite easy as well.